With your pre-trip sheet that is yours, you can take home. Why? Because there's a few things on here that's not here and vice versa, and I cover it all when I do the pre-trip. We cannot make excuses. Go down to DMV, tell the examiner, well, it wasn't on my sheet. Kevin don't want to hear that. He's my boss, so he know how I'm teaching. You can't go down there making excuses, man. I'm telling you now how it works. He taught me. So everything I'm saying, that's what DMV wants. You can get through me, you get through them. So far in the last 6-8 months, nobody failed. Not pre-trip. Not if you're in my class. And I'm not exaggerating, I'm not ego tripping. We go through this step by step to help you guys learn this. Okay? This is how it works. Pay attention. You tell examiner. Now wait for him. You can tell examiner, I'm gonna put a chalk piece of wood, 6 inches here, 6 inches there. I'm gonna come forward. I'm gonna take the key out, put it in my pocket. Close the door. I'm gonna unlock the hood on both sides. Remember, if you don't point and talk, you will not get credit. You can point to the lights at the top. Wait. Ready? Okay. I'm gonna point to the top. There's clearance lights in the top of the trailer. Clearance, you think of bridges. These lights up here, the ends of the tractor are clearance lights. The 3 lights here are ID lights. Stop right here. These are turn signals and 4-way flashers. You tell the examiner, all lights are clean and clear, not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. They are amber in color. Also, stay there. Headlights, high beam. Not cracked, been or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. They are clear in color. And this is the only place you tell the examiner there is no moisture or condensation which will indicate a leak. Then you're going to point down below and you're going to wave your hand. You can say, sir, I'm looking for COPS, coolant oil or power steering fluid. I see no leaks. At this point, you will come up here. You will slowly open my girl. Nice and gentle. Easy on my girl. You got to be soft. Thank you. You point to the exhaust. This is how you do it. You point to the exhaust. You tell the examiner it's not cracked or broken. There's not missing any nuts, bolts, or screws. The U-clamps are in place. There is no excessive soot, which will indicate an exhaust leak. You will follow the exhaust. Right over here, you're going to point to your hoses. The hoses are rubber. Not cut, they're not cracked, they're not dry rotted or bulgy. In this area, you tell the examiner, I see or hear no leaks. You point down here to the alternator. It's not cracked or broken, missing nuts, bolts, or screws. It is belt driven. The wire here is not cut, cracked, dry rotted, or frayed. No exposed wires, which will indicate electrical damage. The belt is not cut, cracked, or dry rotted. The tension on the belt is no less than 1/2 inch. Your book says 3/4. Take a pencil and make the corrections right away, sir. Remember what I said earlier, left to right, top to bottom, inside out. Stand by for a second, hold that up for a second. I'm gonna actually start the truck, turn this key, turn the wheel around so you're gonna get a pictorial view of your slack adjuster, push rod, and cockpit. This is the 3-point contact, hand, foot. This is referred to as the 3-point contact. You get in the truck, 3-point contact. Hand, foot contact. Come back, hand, foot contact. Come down here, then you're through. You always get up and come down with 3-point contact. Are y'all ready? Oh. Left to right, top to bottom, inside out. Point and talk. Coolant reservoir. It's not cracked or broken. Not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. Has a sight glass, filled the proper levels. Anything with fluid inside, you tell the examiner that I see no leaks. Bam! Oil dipstick, oil fill tube. It's not cracked or broken. Not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. Sir, I see no leaks. At this juncture, you tell the examiner, I will take out the fields of the dipstick. I will check for levels. If need be, open the fill tube, fill it, and recheck for proper levels. Bam! That is the water pump. It's not cracked or broken. Not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. It is belt driven, and I see no leaks. Behind these colored lines is where your air compressor is located. You cannot see it. You point that direction, you tell the examiner the air compressor. It's not cracked or broken. It's not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. All right, it is gear driven, and I hear no leaks. Air system. All right, now you got what they call here power steering reservoir. It's not cracked or broken. Not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. It has a sight glass. I can verify it's filled to proper levels. Fluid inside there, so I see no leaks. I have a power steering hose right here. It's not cut, cracked, dry rot, or bulging. I see no leaks. Below the reservoir, in this area, you will not see it. It's the power steering pump. That too is connected to the engine. So that means it's gear driven. You tell the examiner the power steering pump is not cracked or broken. Not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. It is gear driven, and I see no leaks. Now I'm going to come to the 5 pieces of the steering. You have the steering rod, right here, my finger's at. You have the steering box. You have the pitman arm. You have the drag link, and you have the steering knuckle. All 5 pieces are metal. You tell the examiner it's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. On the steering rod, you have joints and sockets in both ends. It's not overly worn and it's properly lubricated. Thank you, my brother. Then on the steering box, where this hose goes to, there's fluid inside. You tell the examiner, I see no leaks. On the drag link, there is a catheter and a cotter pin. A catheter and a cotter pin. They are intact on both ends of the drag link. Now we have the suspension system, which consists of the leaf spring, the leaf spring mounts on both ends, the 2 U-bolts, and the shock absorber. The leaf spring mount and the 2 U-bolts right there are not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. The leaf is not cracked or broken, missing nuts, bolts, or screws. It is properly aligned, and no more than 1/4 of leaf missing will place this vehicle out of service. We have a shock absorber right here. One of my fingers pointing at. The shock absorber is not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. I see no leaks. Remember, gentlemen, in doing this, please be careful. The schools still require us to have 6 feet of distance. Okay? We got cameras watching us out here. We cannot be all that close on each other. Okay? Lady in the office just got it the other day. They had to shut the office down for a while because she got COVID. So we got to keep that distance, okay? I don't mind you taking pictures or video, but make sure we keep our distance. Now, I'm going to go to the last piece here, which is called the air system to the tires. First thing we got is the brake hose, right here my finger's at. Brake hose is rubber. So the rubber is the same always. Now cut, crack, dry run, or bulging. But there's air in that line. So you tell the examiner, I hear no leaks. That in turn goes to the brake chamber, locking ring, and the cotter pins. Now watch when I hit the brakes. Look at that push rod. Y'all see how that works? The air inside that in that brake chamber locking ring pushes out to that push rod, pushes down on the slack adjuster. Slack adjusters push out to the brake drum, hit the brake lining, and it stops the wheel. That's the way of operation. That's what we'll be teaching. So you tell the examiner, the brake drum, the brake hose, brake line, brake chamber locking ring. It's not cracked or broken, missing nuts, bolts, or screws. I hear no leaks. That in turn goes to the slack adjuster, the push rod, and these 2 cotter pins. It's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. The cotter pins are in place. It sits on a 90-degree angle. With the brakes released, I shouldn't be able to pull this no more than 1 inch. Brakes released, what that's saying is when you push in that yellow knob, that's releasing. When you pull it, it's set. Y'all see it in the pre-trip, set and release. When you push in on it, you're going to take a test. And if you can pull that push rod more than 1 inch, you got brake problems. If I was you, I wouldn't drive that truck. Turn it in for the mechanics. From there, it goes to what they call the brake lining. The brake lining should have no excessive wear, no oil or grease. You got the brake drum. It's not cracked or broken, no weld other than factory, no oil or grease. You have the tires. There is no uneven wear. The tread depth is no less than 4/32. The sidewalls is not cut, cracked, dry rot, or bulging. The rim is not cracked or broken, no weld other than factory. Lug nuts and stud, not cracked or broken. Any running rust will indicate a loose or missing lug nut or stud. You have a hub oil seal. It's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. I see no leaks. You just tell the examiner, I will pull out the cap, check my levels to make sure it's filled. And I see no leaks. Last but not least, you have what they call a valve stem. A valve stem is not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. The cap is in place. At that location, I will fill this tire with 100 pounds of pressure with a tire gauge. You'll come back over here, you open up the door. Sir, the door handle is working properly, all the way open, and you point right to your hinges. You tell the examiner the hinges are not cracked or broken, missing nuts, bolts, or screws. The rubber seal on the frame and on the door is not cracked or broken or correction. Not cut, cracked, or dry rotted, and it is intact. At this point, you would actually put the key in, you turn it, and you're going to verify that the window goes up and down. The window is clean and clear. It's not cracked or broken, and it is functioning properly. It is a safety issue. You got to verify that your windows are working properly. You take the key out, put it down here. You will close the door. You will point to the mirror mount on the door and on the hood. It's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. The mirrors is clean and clear, not cracked or broken. All right. From here, this is depth tank, diesel exhaust fluid. It's not cracked or broken. It's not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. The cap is secure. I see no leaks. You have a diesel tank, not gas, diesel tank. It's not cracked or broken. The nuts, bolts, and screws are at the ends of these straps. There is no shiny metal on these straps, which will indicate a loose or shifting tank. There are no holes in the tanks. The cap is secure, and you see no leaks. You have a storage compartment. Inside the storage compartment, you have 3 reflective triangles. You have 3 fuses and/or circuit breakers, and you have a fire extinguisher, fully charged, fully rated, up to date, and secure. Moving over here, want to be careful. Just stand by for a second. Sorry about that. Oh, sorry about that. You're going to go to the tractor side and the trailer side. On the tractors, you got your air hoses. At this location, you tell the examiner it's not cracked, brittle, broken, not missing nuts, bolts, screws. I hear no leaks. The rubber hoses are not cut, cracked, or dry rotted. I hear no leaks. On the tractor side, the electrical box is not cracked or broken, missing nuts, bolts, or screws, secured to the tractor. The wire here, mechanics call it pigtail. It's not cut, cracked, or dry rotted. All right? There is no exposed wires which indicate electrical damage. Thank you, sir. On this side here, we got what they call glad hands. It's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws, and the grubber grommets are not cut, cracked, or dry rot, or missing. At the same time, you got an electrical box on the trailer side. It's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. It is secured to the trailer. Here you have a trailer frame, you have a cross member, and you have a what they call a torsion bar. They're not cracked or broken, missing nuts, bolts, or screws. On the frame, there are no holes or welds other than factory. You have steps, and catwalk. They're not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. They are clear of debris. All right? You have a drive shaft. It's not cracked, broken, twisted, or hanging. You got a U-joint. That cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. Okay? Now, I'm going to go through, let me do this. We have a splash guard and a mud flap. It's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. Firmly attached to the vehicle. On some of these mud flaps, sometimes we will have what they call a DOT tape. Now, cut, crack, or dry rot or peel. All right? Now, I'm going to go through this. This is a trailer face. This is a header board. It's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws, or rivets. There are no holes to allow any elements to come in and destroy the frame. Okay? Now, I'm going to go through 3 items here. It's very critical. The air system, the suspension system, and ultimately the coupling system. I'll explain to you how it works. These are your air hoses right here. Those 2 are your air hoses. Coming from the air compressor. They're rubber. They're not cut, cracked, dry rot, or bulging. I hear no leaks. They in turn go right down here to what they call the brake chambers. The big black things here. Brake chamber here, brake chamber there. Now this is what you're going to do. Follow me. You're going to put it in that brake chamber because that's air hose that's going to the brake chamber and lock it right. You're going to tell the examiner, that's what I'm telling you. Sir, it's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. I hear no leaks. Sir, behind that brake chamber locking ring is my slack adjuster push rod and compact. It's not cracked or broken. It's not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. The counter pins are in place. It sits on a 90-degree angle. With the brakes released in there, I should be able to pull that rod no more than 1 inch. That in turn is connected to the brake lining. Brake lining has no excessive wear, no oil or grease. The brake drum is not cracked or broken, no welds other than factory welds, no oil or grease. Then you have your tires. There has no uneven wear. The tread depth is no less than 2/32 of an inch. These tires are properly spaced or butted, and there is no deep breach. These are my sidewalls. Sidewalls are not cut, cracked, dry rot, or bulging. The rim is not cracked or broken. That missing no welds other than factory. I have my lug nuts and studs. Not cracked or broken. Any running rusts will indicate a loose or missing lug nut or stud. This is an axle oil seal. It's not cracked or broken. Not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. I see no leaks. Last but not least, we have what they call a valve stem. It's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. The cap is in place at that location. I'll have a tire gauge and fill this whole tire up with 100 pounds of pressure. Next, we will go to the suspension system. We have the leaf spring mount and the 2 U-bolts right there. The leaf spring mounts and the U-bolts are not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. The leaf right here, pay attention. It's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. It is properly aligned. No more than 1/4 of leaf missing will place this vehicle out of service. We have a shock absorber. Not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. I see no leaks. I will come over here. I will point to my airbag. My airbag is not cut, cracked, dry rot, or bulging, and I hear no leaks. Above the airbag is what they call an airbag mount, which helps connect to the frame. Airbag mount is metal. It's not cracked or broken, neither is it missing nuts, bolts, or screws. Last but not least, I'm going to talk about what they call the 5th wheel coupling system. Pay attention. I will do the 4 items here. The other 2 items you will back here. I will point down here. See if I can give you a pictorial view of this. This here is my 5th wheel. Sometimes they call it the skid plate. It's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts or screws. It's properly greased. This here is the apron. The apron is not cracked, bent, or broken. There is no space between the apron and the 5th wheel. This is the release arm and the safety latch. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing nuts or screws. It is in the lock position. Here, under this piece right here, it's called locking pins. You do not see it. Locking pins keep that 5th wheel in place. The locking pins are not cracked, bent, or broken. They are in a lock position. Position so that the frame position, so that, the frame will clear the landing gear in turns. Okay? Last but not least, we got a platform back here. The platform is from here to over here. The platform is not cracked or broken. There's no welds other than the factory, and these mounting bolts are in place. Last but not least, you will come here and you will point up in this direction. You tell the examiner, my locking jaws are not cracked, bent, or broken, missing nuts, bolts, or screws. They're locked around the shank of the kingpin and not the head. And number 6, the kingpin is not cracked, bent, or broken. Those are the 6 pieces to your coupling or fifth wheel system. The sidewalls of the trailer. The side is not cracked, bent, or broken. Missing nuts, bolts, or screws, or rivets. No holes or welds. There's no holes to allow elements to come in and destroy the freight. The DOT tape is not cut, cracked, dry run, or peeling, and it runs the full length of the trailer. Then we come back here to answer his question. Then I will come back here and point to what they call the tail light, sir. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. They are red in color. The tail lights consist of your brakes, it consists of your four-wheel flashers, and it consists of your left and right turn signals. All right, the white part is the reverse lights. They're not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. They are clear in color. Okay? This is your undercarriage, your cross members, and the frame. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. There are no holes in our any elements to come in and destroy the frame. Okay? And they're not missing. This is the landing gear. 5 pieces to the landing gear. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. Not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. You notice every time I'm talking about something, I'm pointing at it. Not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. Normally, the feet will be in the raised position. There is no debris on the feet. And this crank handle will be in what they call the stowed position. This here is a turn signal light and part of your four-way flashers. The light here is not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screw, amber in color. This is your ABS light. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws, amber in color. This is a marker light. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, missing nuts, bolts, or screws. It is red in color. Okay. This trailer is different from the others. This trailer has air suspension. The other trailers have spring suspension. This is how this works. Pay attention. Pay attention. Your paper's going to say this. This is your torque mount and torque arm. The arm is part of this piece right here, the bolt. Torque mount and torque arm. Air suspension. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. Not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. Okay? If you look in here, you'll see that you have a shock absorber. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. Not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. I see no leaks. You come back here, you have your airbag. Your airbag is not cut, cracked, dry rot, or bulging. I hear no leaks. Above the airbag is your airbag mount. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws on the airbag mount. That is your suspension back here. Here, you have a push button instead of the rod for what they call the sliding tandem release arm. Instead of the arm, you have a push button. You tell examiner the sliding tandem release arm or button is not cracked, bent, or broken. It's secure, and the locking pins are in the lock position. Now from here, we can go to our suspension, or correction, the air system. These are the air hoses. You follow the air hoses out, they go right to that brake chamber right there. This is how it works. Your air hose is rubber. Same verbiage. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. Correction, it's not cut, cracked, dry rot, or bulging. I hear no leaks. It goes to the brake chamber and locking ring. Follow me out. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. Not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. I hear no leaks. Sir, behind the brake chamber and locking ring, physically is my slack adjuster, push rod, and my 2 cotter pins. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. They're not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. They sit on a 90-degree angle. With the brakes released, I should be able to pull that rod no more than 1 inch. That is connected to my brake lining. Should have no excessive wear, no oil or grease. Connected to the brake drum. It's not cracked or broken, no welds other than the factory, no oil or grease. I have my tires. My tires are properly spaced and butted. There is no debris. The tires have no uneven wear. The tread depth has no less than 2/32 of an inch. The sidewalls are not cut, cracked, dry, rot, or bulging. The rim is not cracked or broken, no welds other than factory. The lug nuts and studs are not cracked, bent, or broken. Any running rust will indicate a loose or missing lug nut or stud. Then we have our hub oil seal. It's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. I see no leaks. We have our valve stem. It's not cracked or broken, missing nuts, bolts, or screws. The cap is in place at that location. I will fill the tire with 100 pounds of pressure with a tire gauge. Come back here, and we pull a butt flap. It's not cracked or broken, not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. Firmly attached to the vehicle. Now, normally you will have doors. Here we got a sliding door, but we still got to give it verbiage. First, we start with the lights. You got the 3 ID lights. You got the clearance lights. These are your brake lights. These are your left and right turn signals and 4 flashes. Sometimes they're called running lights. All lights are not cracked, bent, or broken. Not missing nuts, bolts, or screws. They are red in color. You're going to talk about your handles. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. Not either missing nuts, bolts, or screws. When the doors are here, you'll talk about the door hinges are not cracked or broken. Neither is it missing nuts, bolts, or screws. Okay? You have a DOT bumper. It's not cracked or broken, missing nuts, bolts, or screws. No welds other than factory. The DOT tape runs the full length of the bumper. It is not cut, cracked, dry, rot, or pit. You would tell the examiner, sir, I would examine this side of the trailer as I have this side with your permission. Any questions so far, gentlemen?
I got a question.
No, you don't, man. You the best up the whole thing.
That's the whole outside. So
That's the outside.
Okay.
So we inspect this side as well.
You, McLean.